This is Steve Zeltzer with WorkWeek, and I'm here with
鉄水と動力者労働組合の委員長の石井真一です。
Maybe you can talk about the issue of contamination because the government of Japan wants the Olympics in Fukushima. Speak about the dangers you're concerned about.
日本の政府が今オリンピックに対してもう汚染はないと言ってるけれども、Doro-Mitaが汚染に対して戦っていると、その内容についてちょっと話してください。
Doro-Mitaはこの2020年のオリンピックのに向けて常磐線の全線開通ということに反対をして、戦っています。
Revival of the line, 常磐 line alongside the coast side in the most contaminated area. Opposed to this governmental plan.
なぜなら常磐線の大野駅っていう駅は福島第一原発のすぐ隣を通る線路だからです。
大野 station is very close to the Fukushima Daiichi nuclear plant, which exploded. Very dangerous and very strongly contaminated.
その開通がされれば運転士と車掌は毎日列車が運行されて被爆することになります。
The line through this contaminated area will be revived. The conductor, drivers and conductors and passengers are all contaminated daily, every moment, and we are opposed to this.
それは労働組合として許すことはできません。
As a labor union, it's inadmissible. We can't pass it.
And why does Abe want to bring the Olympics to Fukushima?
なぜ安倍はオリンピックの拠点を福島に持ってこようとしているんですか。
安倍総理は自分がオリンピックを招致したときに、汚染水はアンダーコントロールされているということで東京にオリンピックを招致したという責任があって、それを覆い隠すために常磐線が止まっているという状況を許せないということだというふうに思います。
When Abe negotiated with the opening of Olympic in Japan 2020, there was a discussion about the contamination of the nuclear plant, and he said, all the contamination is under control, no problem, so there's no danger in Fukushima. And he tried to prove this, his promise in reviving this line. It is his attempt.
Do you think he's using the Olympics to say that everything's okay and it's been decontaminated? He's using the Olympics as a means to say that everything's okay in Fukushima.
あなたは、福島ということをオリンピックがやることによって福島安全だということのために宣伝に使っているというふうに考えますか。
そのように考えています。全然安全ではありません。実際は甲状腺がんという病気が福島県民の中で、原発事故以来、200人以上かかっています。
Thyroid cancer is increasing. Number is increasing. 200 children are discovered to be contaminated and having the symptom of the thyroid cancer.
それで組合表彰を始めますので、各支部の皆さん、中に入ってください。
Is he make an appeal to workers and the Olympic committees around the world to pull out of the Olympics?
で、Doro-Mitaとしては、福島をオリンピックに利用するなということについてキャンペーンをやっているでしょうか。
私たちDoro-Mitaは昨年の1月から常磐線全線開通反対ということで署名運動を全国で展開をし、5000名以上の署名を集めています。で、JR 東日本という会社にも申し入れをして、団体交渉を今求めています。
We have been making a nationwide campaign to over the contamination of this area. Opposed to the revival of this line, we are gathering signature. 何名でした署名は。
5100
5,000 signatures is already gathered to expose the demagogic propaganda. Already safe.
So the people of the world have reason to be concerned about Fukushima and the Olympics being held in Fukushima.
でみんなの一般の住民は福島がそういった危険なところがあるということについて、このオリンピックがやれることは危険だと思って納得してるんでしょうかと。
その通りだと思います。で、福島県民は全然放射能が少なくなっているとか被爆をしないとかいうことについては全くそのように考えていないし、だから福島県から避難をして、他の地域に避難をして今も避難をし続けています。
No inhabitant in Fukushima believe that the danger is over. Other proof, the refugees of Fukushima don't want to go back to Fukushima. Very scarce number is going to back, but majority is staying outside Fukushima still today.
But Abe's lying to the people of the world that everything's safe.
全く安倍総理は嘘ついているというふうに思います。ライア。
So this is Steve Zeltzer with KPFA WorkWeek Radio, and I'm with Ambassador Murata. Welcome to KPFA WorkWeek Radio. Ambassador, can you talk about your concern about the issues of nuclear power and why you've taken that up as an issue?
Recently, I created a term that is the destructive power in all directions of nuclear power and immorality. And it is certain that they bring about catastrophes.
And what are the lessons of Fukushima for the Japanese people and the people of the world?
Yes. The most important lesson is the inevitable the shift from priority to economy to priority to life. That is the lesson we have learned from Fukushima.
Now, a number of former prime ministers, Prime Minister Koizumi and Prime Minister Kan, have opposed the restarting of the nuclear plants. Why have the former prime ministers taken this position?
Against the restarting, it is evident because the myth of safety of nuclear energy has been broken by Fukushima accident. So I am ardently voicing against the restart of nuclear reactors in Japan.
Now, when Fukushima took place, Prime Minister Kan was worried that the explosion, that the meltdowns would lead to the forced evacuation of the people of Tokyo. Was that a real concern for the people of Japan?
Yes. After that incident, when the accident was not brought under control, there was a secret paper produced by the chairman of the Nuclear Energy Commission forecasting the necessity of evacuating 50 million people living around the capital in case the worst happens again. So actually, there is a very important problem we are facing. That is, the Nuclear Energy Commission has authorized the restart of Tokai No. 2 nuclear reactor, which is only 100 kilometers from Tokyo. I am absolutely against the restart of this reactor. So I would like to ask you to help Japan to what should I say, to stop. Yes.
The question I have is, if there was a real concern of the Japanese government that Fukushima would lead to a forced evacuation of 50 million people. Also, Japan is on the ring of fire with all these earthquake areas around Japan. Why would the government move ahead with restarting these nuclear reactors?
I cannot understand. And people with normal power of understanding couldn't understand. And it's abnormal. And I attribute it to the pursuit of economic interests.
And the government now has brought the Olympics to Japan, and they want to have the baseball games in Fukushima. What are your thoughts about that?
It is simply crazy. And, I feel ashamed about the Tokyo Olympics because it has been made possible by two big lies. One is under control assertion made by Prime Minister Abe. Another is the asserting that July, August is the ideal season for marathon, which is a complete lie. And with these two lies, the Tokyo Olympic Games is based on these two big lies. It is a shame for Japan to allow the holding of the Olympics.
And the former head of the Japanese Olympic Committee is involved in a corruption scandal. What is that all about?
It happened in Brazil, and the former chairman of the Brazilian Olympic Committee is now in jail. I don't know how the French will be behaving concerning this matter.
Now, the Japanese people, there have been polls taken, and the majority of the Japanese people are against the restarting of the plants. The majority of the Japanese people are opposed to nuclear power. Why hasn't that been reflected in the political system?
I call it the symbol of immorality and irresponsibility, the restarting of nuclear energies. And it is deplorable, but in the world today, what is lacking is ethics and philosophy. I think it is a matter of ethics.
And the government has said that they've decontaminated Fukushima, that's the reason that they can have the games there, and some have said you can overcome radiation. How can these theories come forward?
It is the lack of faith in the law of the universe. I call it the will of heavens and the earth. This is, in other terms, I call it the law of history. And the law of history, we can remind that the inevitable fall of the arrogant, or the impossibility for the immorality to last long, and these are proven by Chinese philosopher Lao Tzu, who said, "Heaven's vengeance is slow but sure."
And so your view is that you urge people around the world to speak up and to urge their Olympic committees and their governments not to support nuclear power, not to support...
Yes, I do my best for that, although it involves a lot of risks, but I am determined to continue my plea. Yes, and actually I received many encouragements from notable people around the world.
So the voices of people around the world can raise this as a real issue for the world, and not just Japan.
Yes, but I fear very much that another accident could take place. And before that, we should stop. Otherwise, what is happening in Fukushima, if it spreads in the world, it will be a living hell, the earth.
And there are over 1 million tons of radioactive water in tanks surrounding Fukushima. If there's a major earthquake, they could rupture. The water could go in the Pacific Ocean. There seems to be no concern by the government about this.
Even the IAEA is tacitly supporting the putting all the contaminated water into the ocean. the IAEA is now problematic. And also these international organizations like International Olympic Committee is now under criticism because nobody believes that Fukushima is under control. It is the obligation of this committee, International Olympic Committee, to re-verify this infamous assertion. But I have sent many letters to President Bach, Thomas Bach. He doesn't react at all.
And this idea that it's been decontaminated, how can you decontaminate Fukushima when they still have yet to remove the melted nuclear rods in the reactor?
And outstanding experts say it will never be possible.
And if they are able to have the baseball games there, and there was a major earthquake at that time, would the people in the Olympic Village there at the baseball be in danger in Fukushima?
It goes without saying. It is a catastrophe.
So this Olympic Committee is putting its athletes and the people sports who come to the Olympics in danger. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, yes. The Olympic Committee, International Olympic Committee, should have reacted when all the commitments for the Tokyo Olympic Games were ignored, and they still continue to ride with the false assertion Fukushima is under control. And this committee, including President Thomas Bach, has all materials and documents to be convinced that Fukushima is far from being under control.
And there's also the issue of the funding of the Olympics. Large amount of money has gone to the funding, yet many of the residents are still suffering. People are having a rough time who are survivors. Do you find that as a problem? I mean,
that is the morality itself, to put aside the miseries of Fukushima and be concentrated on the Olympics. And the Olympics serves as the tool to hide Fukushima and to postpone what should be done immediately in Fukushima. It's a pretext to do it after the Olympics. So Tokyo Olympics now can be regarded as both immoral and radioactive.
Okay, well, thank you for joining us on this important interview.
Thank you very much. I hope it will be the start of the, what should I say, getting up. The
rising up of people
of the people in the world. And I cannot refrain from saying that the mainstream of the world presently is supporting 430 nuclear energies and even promoting them. It should be corrected.
Post to measure the hotspot of Tokyo, there is quite high areas in Tokyo where they are planning to have a Olympic Stadium.
So Tokyo is contaminated?
Of course. It's contaminated from a long time ago, but people started to forget and don't think about it. But
so is the government letting people know where the hot spots are in Tokyo?
No. But
keep that a secret.
Keep that a top secret, but the movements have been getting weakened too. So the people that should be talking about it and have more information about it are getting less too. So we have to start it again to measure the spots of Olympic Stadium so we can make it visual to send out more message to athletes of all around the world.
So it's not just Fukushima you're concerned about?
Of course, because as he said, like, it's only 200 kilometers away from Fukushima, and there's another nuclear plant that is very dangerous in Tokai. Tokai second nuclear plant is like 40 years old, and they're still moving it. And we're talking about that too. that Nazen basically are talking about more about nuclear plants right now, but we have to make it a set to talk about no Olympics, so that is more we can get more support from overseas too.
And what,
In an original way of sportsmanship.
so you think that the Olympics, the way it's commercialized and the corruption have destroyed the spirit of the Olympics?
Yes, it's completely destroyed the spirits and completely destroying the towns and completely going to destroy people that are living in where the Olympics going to be held all around the world too.
You should introduce yourself.
Oh, I'm Shoko Oda, Vice Executive Director of Nazen, which is No Nukes Zenkoku Network of Japan. We started our organization in 2011, August, so that we can stop all the nuclear plants around Japan, which is more than 50. And we started with signature movement, demos, and rallies, and all kind of stuff. But the main thing that we do right now is more about taking care of kids in Fukushima that is suffering from thyroid cancer. And we started a clinic in Fukushima City, which was raised by a donation, and there are still mothers and fathers that are concerned about their child's health that wanted to get out of Fukushima, but because of their works and money problems that they couldn't evacuate, they still do this 保養っていうのは recuperation でいいんですかね。保養運動 to get out of Fukushima at least 30 days per year, so they can lessen their
just so that the
Less
health
than the
can be
radiation.
recuperated.
So we do that movement in summer and Golden Week, which is May and September, and anytime that these mothers ask us to have them come over to Tokyo or another prefecture so their kids can have time to play outside or play in the river or something like that away from Fukushima. And that's the main thing.
What do you think it feels like to be a mother in Fukushima and not be able to have your children play and have a regular life as a child?
One time we saw this mother in tears when she saw her kid, like 5-year-olds, touching the mud and playing with water and getting all dirty. She was crying. And as a mother of...
Because they couldn't do it in
They can't do it
Fukushima.
in Fukushima, or she doesn't let him do it in Fukushima. Maybe other mothers around her is thinking that,
So
okay,
this
but
evacuated area, children were able to do.
last year we took them to Sagamihara where we can play in the river, kind of swim too, and do all this water game thing. And one kid from Fukushima found a crab, this tiny crab, and he was so happy to touch a crab because he can't do that in Fukushima. Me as a mother of 3 child, even in Tokyo, I buy water to cook their meal and to drink, make their tea and stuff like that, and of course my baby's milk. And we buy vegetables not from supermarket because we can't trust supermarkets in Tokyo. They don't measure the vegetables in big supermarkets, but we buy from the directly from the farmers in Chiba, in Sanrizuka, which they take their vegetable and measure each time how radiation activity is going on their affecting their vegetable. So it's so much to think as a mother in Fukushima. Is too much pressure on them. And these mothers wants to get out of Fukushima because they can't talk about their truth and what they really want to talk about, that anger and anxiety about these affection from the nuclear accident. So these mothers really trust us to come over and really just talk about things that they're concerned and maybe drink beer together and stuff like that. We do that kind of activity for their lives too.
It sounds like a nightmare.
Yeah, but what we realized is not just sad stories, because some mothers that are still concerned about their children's health came over and said, like, I don't want my child to feel negative about to be born in Fukushima because of this radiation. I want them to think that there's people that support them and to live. There's still life going on in Fukushima, even with the radiation. We have to live through this, so we have to unite with more people that can talk about the truth. And even with the radiation, we got to get strong to live through it. We need to make the government to evacuate all these people in Fukushima. That's the truth. But as long as we can't do that, we have to keep on doing what we can do with our movement's power right now.
And the future?
In the future, yeah, because Chernobyl, they still do this recuperation program as a government. They have a government build places so the children can get out of the radiation pollution every year. The Japanese government is not doing it. We got to change the government.
And the Abe government, what do you think about the Abe government?
We have to get more power to defeat him more earlier as possible.
He is. You think he's criminally insane?
Yeah, of course.